Hey guys, I'm just gonna give everybody here a quick walkthrough on how to design a basic dirt bike jump. Now this is definitely by no means where's my dirt bike over there, by the way. This is definitely by no means a full-size freestyle ramp. I built one of those a couple years back in high school, but I used more or less the same principle for this one as I did for my other one. The idea for this is just more, I got a couple hills out back behind my house, so it's more of a hill jump. So you can see that the lip really isn't that intense. It's quite a mellow lip. That's just because I want more distance than height. The reason why I'm using wood is because I don't have a machine. You know, I can't drive a machine all the way out there. And it's going to be pretty, I don't know, take a lot of work to get a machine down there and move all the dirt. And then plus I can move this too if I want to take this up north or whatever. You know, I might put some wheels on it and make it portable. But yeah, when I was looking at building one of these things, I was looking around a lot and I noticed that there really isn't much out there, I guess, for freestyle ramps. Like when I was trying to build my first freestyle ramp, my full-sized FMX ramp, whatever, 7 feet by, what is it, 19 feet I think it is, or whatever, 18 feet. I couldn't find any plans, so I basically just kind of winged it. And it worked out really, really well. You know, a lot of guys on the internet are saying, oh, you can't use wood, wood's not structurally sound, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's not gonna work, it's gonna deteriorate, it's gonna rot, all that crap. I totally disagree. If you know what you're doing, and you build it right, as I'll kind of go through here, the ramp will last fine. I think I've had my ramp out there for what, 5 years now. It's been sitting in the dirt. I don't tarp it off I live in Canada. We have 4 months of winter, snow, rain, shit like that. And you know what, it's been working completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I still hit it every single summer. I got, you know, my 450 going off that thing, 50-foot gap at the moment. And you know, you see you're going pretty fast and the ramp holds up just fine. So let's kind of go into the basic construction real quick. I primarily use 2x6s because they're just stronger than 2x4s. They have a little more weight to them. You want the jump to have a bit of weight to it, so that it doesn't move around too much. So basically the first thing I did was I designed it on SolidWorks, so you can see a picture of that. And I'm going to throw these drawings up for people if they want to copy this, replicate this. I would happily build another ramp for you guys. You know, design it at least, give you guys the dimensions so that if you want to build a full freestyle ramp out of wood, you can. Maybe basically copy my design that I used originally. So yeah, thankfully college taught me something useful, how to build shit in SolidWorks. So that's the basic design of the ramp. Obviously my ramp here isn't completed yet. I just thought I'd kind of throw this video together and wait for my batteries to charge from my cordless drill and skill saw. So this is really the most important drawing. The hardest thing when you're building a ramp is to get the nice consistent lip on it. And so you can see here that, you know, basically using the right tools you can get a nice consistent curve. And then the hardest thing after that is finding the angles of each individual support and the height of them. Because, you know, even if you're off by half an inch, it's going to throw the whole curve out. It's going to be all wonky. It's not going to be nice hitting. So you basically designed it and I dimensioned it. And some of this stuff, you know, is more or less overkill. Like this here, I put all the supports in, all the angles and shit. Doesn't have to be that intense by any means. Just the main thing is the supports. So, like I was saying earlier, I used all 2x6s for the ramp. Now, basically, I kind of wish I'd taken a video as I was building to kind of show everyone how I went about it. It's really quite straightforward. I mean, if any of you guys got any experience, mechanical experience, building experience, I'm sure you don't even need to really listen to this part. All you need is the drawings. But for everybody else out there who's kind of new to go about it, the first thing I did, same thing with my freestyle ramp, I had a lot of experience. I basically built this in the exact same way I built my freestyle ramp, just on a smaller scale. I built these supports here, right where my foot is, that run along the entire base. Basically, I whacked those together first. So the jump specs are 10 feet by 3.5 feet tall. So I have a 10-foot 2x6 that I run all along the base. It's two of them, same for either side. And then I basically nail a 2x6 along the base, along the side of it there. Now, please don't comment on my, these 2x6s are pretty rotten and shitty, a lot of chips and shit. I know a lot of it's not square, no one please comment on that. So yeah, so I run a 2x6 along the side, and nail it all together. So basically I get both lengthwise base supports built first. Then I cut my supports. So I get the angles and heights off them, you cut the height first. Now you're probably gonna need a miter saw for this. If you use a skill saw and use a protractor or whatever, you can get some nice tools like that to get a nice angle. But a miter saw works much better. So the first thing I do is I cut the height first. So what is this one? I forget. Just under 3.5 feet. And then I basically right where the height is. This is where the height would be at the time. I basically cut the piece of wood with the miter saw on the perfect angle, right at the top of the height. So I got basically the perfect height, perfect angle. Do that for all supports. So you got 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one down here you can't really see because it's so short. So you cut basically all 8 of the supports out. Nail the first ones on, flush with the ends. So you have the 2 supports. So you nail the first 2 supports, flush with these ends right here. So you nail them in, boom, so they're standing up straight. Obviously don't push on them, there's no structural support there at the moment. And then you measure out your center to center distance. So in this case it's 2.5 feet, 30 inches. So you can, basically from one end to the front end, be 30 inches center to center. And then you nail this one in. Then don't go from this support to this support, go from this support again to here. So it'll be 60 inches, nail that one on. And then from this support to the last one, right down here, which will be 90 inches, 90 inches, and then 120 inches. So you put all the supports on first. Then you cut the middle support sections out right here. I believe there's a 33 inches. So basically from outside support to outside support is 3 feet wide minus the width of the 2x6. So you got 33 inches in the center. Now square of a jump up, however you want to do that, just square the 2 lengthwise supports that roll on the bottom here. Square that up, nail the first one in, then go around to the back here, nail the second one on. So it jumps nice and square, it's all nice and square, because sometimes you might cut stuff, 1/8 of an inch or, whatever, a little off, or the wood might be a little warped, but you don't want that to affect your plywood, because otherwise your plywood's gonna not sit on the supports properly. So you square up both ends, so it's perfectly at 3 feet wide. You might have to cut this support, one of the supports at either end a little shorter, a little longer. It's not going to be spot on. It's not wet. It's not metal, right? It's wood, and wood can vary a little bit. Then once it's all squared up, you get those 2 supports on. You put the next 2 middle pieces in, right there and there. So basically, got everything that I got here minus my cross pieces right here and my plywood. So once that's on, you just go ahead and cut 4 pieces of wood that are 3 feet wide for your cross brace supports. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now what you'll notice is that right up here, I got a 2x6, and then the other 2 down here and here are also 2x6s, but this one right here, my support is only a 2x4. And the reason I do this is because of the bend of the wood. If basically the wood is going to lie flush with the 2x6 support, obviously. Now that means it's not really a true arc, right? Because it's basically flat here, then it arcs to the next one, and then it's flat along here. So now if you have a 2x6 here, it's going to be, you might be able to kind of see how it's up here, it's whatever, 1 3/4 inches, but down here it's a little less. That basically, the 2x4 here just allows it to kind of bend a little bit more naturally, because that, I noticed it was kind of bending a little bit, so I put a 2x4 there instead, and 2x6 and 2x6. So yes, knock those all on, and basically you got your rough structure. Now after that, I'm using 1/2 inch plywood. I'm going to double layer it. The beauty of using 1/2 inch is that it bends much easier than 3/4 inch. And even then, I don't think three-quarter inch plywood is enough. So you'd have to double sheet 3/4, which is more expensive. So throw your plywood on, cut it obviously 3 feet wide with a table saw, skill saw, whatever you want to use. Whack that on. Obviously, take into note that your plywood might not be long enough. So you're going to want to match it up so it's about halfway the support at the bottom here. And my next sheet will go on down the bottom. And this actually works out really, really well, so that 4 sheets will be perfect. I have a scrap piece of plywood here. If I throw this down, just kind of whip it up. One sec. Just kind of roughly, you'll see that it mates up nicely, and it extends a little past the base support here, the ground, so you have a nice ramp. If it ends right at the end of a 2x6 there, you're gonna have basically a little over an inch worth of clearance in the ground. So it's going to affect your front wheel. That's a mistake I made with my other freestyle ramp. So basically, if you can find some old 2x6s lying around, pick them up for free for really, really cheap. They don't have to be great, just something to work. The plywood might cost you money. I got this off my uncle for free, but whatever works. One last thing to note, you can see here my plywood's overhanging a little bit. I'll cut that off with a skill saw afterwards. That's just so that I can get the perfect mate right here in the center. So it's all nice and square. So then once your first 2 layers of plywood on, put the second sheets on. One thing to note is that you're gonna want to make sure that you don't want to mate both sheets of plywood in the same place. So I wouldn't want to put a second sheet the exact same 8 feet length here, so that I have both sheets of plywood meeting each other in the same place. Because if over time, if the wood warps or whatever, it's going to kind of pull up and get kind of funny. So my next mate will probably be on this 2x4. And I guess that's really about it. I guess one thing I'm leaving out is my cross pieces. As you can see, I'm drawing one of the drawings here. This one here. I got my cross supports. This is basically looking front on the jump. So this is looking in this orientation here. You can see I got my cross supports running from corner to corner. Now I got all the angles and stuff in here. It doesn't have to be that intense. All you got to do is basically whack a structural support from corner to corner on one side, and then opposite corner to opposite corner on the inside. And I wouldn't bother about doing it for the bottom two, obviously, just the top two, just the front two supports, because they're the highest up. And trust you and me, this jump isn't going to go nowhere. I guess one last thing I should say, sorry to keep dragging on here, guys, but everything was constructed with nails. I think it was 3-inch nails. Some stuff was used with 2.5, 2 3/4. I forget, 2 3/4, I think, so that it doesn't poke through. But the plywood has to be mounted with screws. Nails don't hold properly. And because there's quite a lot of tension, at least initially on the plywood, you're definitely going to want to use screws and get them as close to the edge as possible. Well, not too close, but get them to the edge so that the plywood really grips on nice and well to the supports. And I guess that's it. Like I said, there's really no videos on how to make these things out there. I know this isn't what a lot of people are looking for. Most people are looking for a full-size freestyle ramp. If I get any interest in this, maybe I'll design up my freestyle ramp I have out back in my track and give you guys a little support on that. It's obviously a lot more intense. It's almost twice the size. Actually, it is. It's twice the height, not quite twice the length, but pretty close to it. But for all those people out there who say that wood isn't structurally sound enough, I think it's absolute bullshit. A lot of people don't have the same access to metal and metalworking like a welder and a chop saw and all that stuff that you need. Whereas wood, you can build it quite easily, and it's much cheaper. And you know what? If you build it right, it'll keep working for 5 years in a row, no problem. Like my ramp's completely fine. I've been hitting it for years and years. So yeah, guys, I hope you like this, and cheers, everybody.